lower taxes and real change in the city of Hoboken need to be the highest priority of the next administration. Lower taxes are an issue that's on a lot of people's minds just because of the amount of a tax increase that you've seen in Hoboken in the last year. Now, we've seen a 47% tax increase in Hoboken. The largest portion of that tax increase is directly attributable to the state takeover that was provoked by the mismanagement of the city's affairs and the city council's inability or refusal to pass a budget last year. Out of that 47% tax increase, millions and millions and millions of dollars are added up and added into that tax levy from last year in the form of new borrowing, new interest payments, and an uncollected tax reserve account that never would have been collected and never would have been visited upon the taxpayer and on the homeowner if the city council had done its job and voted along the ways that I suggested, which was to pass a budget, maintain control over our own affairs, and do the right thing by the taxpayer. Now, when we talk about lowering taxes, and I'm confident that we're going to be able to do that in an immediate kind of time frame and in a dramatic fashion, there's a number of things that have to happen here in Hoboken. First and foremost, you need a mayor and an administration that is being honest about what it costs to run the city. For far too long, the mayor has not given an accurate representation of what it costs to run the city. Total appropriations have not been fully disclosed. And you need a mayor who is going to stick to honest, responsible, balanced budgets. That's first and foremost. The mayor needs to be upfront and candid with the council, with the public, with the voters, with the homeowners, and with the press, frankly, with respect to how much it costs to run the city. What does it cost to really run a mile square city with 40,000 residents? Now, there are those, including the people I have run against in this mayoral election, who believe that a city of 40,000 people, a mile square city like we have here in Hoboken, and it has $100+ million budget, they consider that underfunded. That's crazy. That's nonsense. We should be able to run our city for far less than $100 million, and the suggestion that $100+ million budget is an underfunded budget in Hoboken is something that I disagree with entirely. The specific line items that I want to look at if and when I am sworn in as the next mayor of Hoboken are firstly the uncollected tax reserve account, which totals anywhere from, depending on which office you're asking the question of, but it could be as much as $10 or $12 million that was collected from the taxpayers last year in order to fund an uncollected tax reserve account. Never should have been collected, never would have been collected if the city council had done its job last year and passed a budget. That is a line item in total appropriations that I will not include in my budgets, so that should be a reduction of anywhere from $10 to $12 million. Plus, I want to take the $10 to $12 million that's in that uncollected tax reserve account right now and give it back to the taxpayers in the form of a tax cut, in the form of a rebate check, or in the form of a reduction in the tax levy in the next fiscal quarter or two. So one way or the other, the taxpayer is going to realize actual tax savings, whether they get a check in the mail or whether they see that money come back to them in the form of a tax cut in the following fiscal quarter. One way or the other, that money belongs to the taxpayers, never should have been taken from them in the first place, and I want to give it back to them. So that's a swing of multiple $1 million right there in 1 year. The second thing that I want to look at is reorganizing and reconstituting the law department. We used to have a situation years ago where you had a corporation counsel who ran the city's law department, represented the city in all matters, in court, all legal matters, and that person would have a staff of attorneys working for them in-house, full-time, who did the lion's share of the city's work. Today, what you have is a corporation counsel and then no attorneys working in-house in City Hall for that person. And so all the legal work that the city has to get done is farmed out to law firms who end up charging millions and millions of dollars within any given administration to do that work. I want to go back to the old model. I want to go back to the time when you had a corporation counsel and a number of staff attorneys. You're saving the money on the legal contracts. You're paying people a full-time salary to work 9 to 5, to work full-time in City Hall, doing everything that can be done in-house, including collective bargaining, including appellate work, including civil rights and EEOC work, including writing briefs, everything that can be done that doesn't necessarily have to be farmed out at much greater cost to the taxpayer. I want to bring it back in. The other things that need to be looked at are the other professional service contracts across the city, including our solid waste contract, our garbage pickup, This is a city that picks up garbage 6 days a week. It's unlike any municipality in the state of New Jersey in that regard. That's additional millions and millions of dollars that the taxpayer is footing. All of these things combined, if you're really going to take a good, long, hard look at them and implement an attrition policy so that you are not adding to the payrolls unnecessarily, you could realize millions and millions of dollars of savings just in year one. And that's something that I'm committed to and I believe very strongly that we'll be able to accomplish. My name is Peter Camerano, and I'm running for mayor of Hoboken. I am ready to lower taxes and deliver real change. Together, on June 9th, let's move Hoboken forward.